Hello, Year 6 artists. Here we are again with our pattern portrait project. Last half term, you worked on Islamic art, geometric patterns and designs, and we turned them into different types of printing technique. This was a monoprint, and this was where we made a block, a printing block. This was it, and I asked you to keep these safe so that you can use them again this half term. So I hope you've got your printing block. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be making another printing block. So we've got this one based on Islamic designs. We're also now going to create another block, a second block each, using all sorts of patterns and designs from all around the world. This project's all about celebrating multiculturalism in Manchester and in our school. So we've created lots of lovely visual aids for you of lovely, beautiful patterns from around the world. We've got Romania, China, and this one's from West Africa. And I'm going to use this one as my inspiration. So here I am, I'm just quickly sketching out, just as we did before, our patterns. Now on our first one we actually traced the pattern on there, didn't we? We actually laid the paper on top and drew over. This one you're just drawing it straight on. If you want to do a bit of rough paper first, that's fine, but it's really just about having a play, taking that inspiration and doing your own design from it. So it's very much down to you. You can see here I've got these moon shapes and spikes and circles, but I'm not doing it all in the same order as that. I'm doing my own version of it. Okay, so don't feel you have to copy it perfectly. And I'm using a pencil this time. You might find you prefer to use a biro. I think I found pencil a little bit easier. And just do nice sort of smooth movements and things there. Little shapes work really well. But you don't need huge amounts of detail. It's just about capturing the feel of a pattern or design from a different country or culture. And here I go. I'm just going to whiz ahead and finish my block off. So when you have finished drawing it out, you're going to need to colour it in again, just like you did with the original block. And what I want to say to you is don't use any black. It's really important you don't use black, because we're going to do a monoprint like we did with this one on top of this later on, and we don't want to use black. Any other colour, great, whatever colours you fancy, but remember, don't use permanent marker. It's got to be these water-based felt tip pens that we use. So just get colouring in any designs. I used I think it was 3 different colours or 4 different colours for this one. Later on I had an experiment and I found it worked really well just using 2 colours as well, so you don't have to go overboard with the colours. Once you've filled in your new one, you've got to go over the colours of your old one as well. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes to do each tile, depending on how complicated your design is. So now we're going to do some printing. We're going to print our 2 blocks on. We're going to prepare our paper by squirting some water on and wiping it off. We don't want puddles, we just want it damp so that the paper will take the ink off of the printing blocks. And we lay our first block onto our background, our damp paper, and we just rub it on there. And I'm going to use a roller as well to try and transfer as much of the ink from the printing block onto the piece of paper. So just rubbing that carefully. Remember, try not to move it. There we go. That's our first print. And now we get our second printing block, which of course we've also coloured in, and it's ready to go. And we lay that on. Now I'm going to lay it so it's overlapping slightly, because what we're doing here is we're making the background that we're going to print on in our next lesson. We're going to put a monoprint over the top. And what I want is some areas of contrast. So I want some areas of bright colour and then some other areas left white. And it's nice to have the overlap as well, as that just makes a more interesting background for us to print on. Once you've done one background, you need to do a second one. We need 2 backgrounds to print on in our next lesson. So you use both of your printing blocks twice, and then that will be nice and ready for us to print on. So what we are going to do is we're going to be putting a portrait on top of that, on top of our 2 backgrounds. We'll have a photograph of ourselves. This is somebody in year 6 I've chosen, and we are going to make a monoprint on the top of that, which is why it doesn't matter if it's not straight. We're going to be just sort of choosing the best area to print on there. That will be fine. So that'll be fun. We need 2 backgrounds printed with 2 printing blocks from 2 different cultures, ready for us to print on in our next lesson. Okay, everybody, crack on. Good luck. Help each other out. Bye.